Today marks the close of the FIFA eNations Stay and Play Cup, and while our eBafana boys may have dropped out in the group stages, we still get to enjoy all the football action from the semis and finals. Today I'm joined by Wasim, a professional FIFA player from South Africa who also is a professional FIFA commentator, and we're going to analyze the semi-finals as well as their grand final results. We now move into the semi-finals of the FIFA eNations Stay and Play Cup. Two relatively unknown teams, or surprises if you like, making it through, Malta and Luxembourg. And I want to chat a little bit about that Malta-Germany matchup, Wasim, because on paper I would have immediately presumed that the German team would have taken this. What was your thoughts going into that game?
Yeah, so look, I mean, if you look at both, both countries, if someone looks at that score and perhaps it doesn't look like a traditional football score because, I mean, Malta beating Germany. But actually, if you break down the game and you look at the two players, Spiteri and Dylan Mike, I mean, both have made massive strides in the EA competitive scene. Dylan Mike having won one of the EA Cups, and Spiteri was quite high in the leaderboards at one stage. So both players have their accolades to their names. But having looked at the scoreline of a 0-0 between them, I would have honestly never expected that. I would have expected perhaps a goal fest, but yeah, it looks like that result was a lot tighter than we may have anticipated. When
you take a look at the Saudi Arabia-Luxembourg game, were you surprised by how close that scoreline was? 5-4 at the end, and all coming down to the real footballers, if you like, and not necessarily the FIFA pros. Did you expect it to be that close after watching Saudi Arabia pretty much dominate throughout this competition?
So Sam, interesting thing you say that, if you look at, like you said, both semi-finals, the professional FIFA players had a tie, and it was up to the real footballers. And if we look at the Saudi Arabia-Luxembourg game, anyone in the esports scene generally, anyone in the FIFA scene would have expected MS Tosari to come out with a win. Maybe something not outright like a 3 or 4-0, but definitely a win. But I think Fabinho just goes to show here what a fantastic FIFA player he is. I mean, up against a former world champion, to be able to go 3-3 with him. Fantastic result, I think, for Luxembourg in that first leg.
And now when we get into the finals, of course, Saudi Arabia, the team that knocked Bafana out of this competition, going up against Malta. Would you say Malta was a surprise? I mean, we've chatted before in previous episodes about their FIFA player and how talented he is. Was it a surprise for you to see Malta in the final, or do you think that it was expected from some of the FIFA pros?
Look, initially, as we gradually began the knockout stages, I think we were surprised to see Malta win perhaps their first fixture. But I think as they began playing and as we watched them play, slowly, but surely, they convinced us that they do deserve to be in the final, because I mean, some of these performances were absolutely fantastic. And surprisingly enough, so one would have expected Spiteri perhaps to be, so-called getting the team, but looks like the professional footballer did a lot of work as well. So, to see them in the final, like I said, perhaps is a bit surprising, but I think 100% they do deserve it.
No surprise though at the end, Saudi Arabia taking that game 2-1. Previous world champion, they were the team that knocked out Bafana. Would you say that was an expected result based on their performance leading up to the final?
100%. I think if you look at a team like Saudi Arabia, they've got, two world champions actually from that country in FIFA, one being MS Tosari and one being a former one, Al Sheri. So if you looked at this matchup, you would definitely have gone with Saudi Arabia, but again, when we look at the scoreline, it was a lot closer than people would have anticipated. And once again, the professional FIFA players deadlocked after that 90 minutes.
I think that's what makes this so much fun though, is because with the professional players, you kind of expect a certain result, but when it goes down to the real players having to perform, then it's all to play for, and it kind of adds an air of excitement to the games that we're watching, especially for someone who's more of a real football fan, and this is a new introduction to FIFA.
We can see from what's going on in the world around us that perhaps things may not return to normality anytime soon, and this was just an example of the type of FIFA competitions that we can expect to see in the next few months, because we already saw a number of different professional footballers face off each other again, in a tournament, and we've got now the eNations Stay and Play Cup. So hopefully we've got a few more coming past, and perhaps a win for South Africa on the board sometime soon.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey as we watched all the action in the FIFA eNations Stay and Play Cup. It's been absolutely fantastic to see real-life footballers join up with some of the best FIFA players from around the world, and of course watching our very own Bafana perform extremely well in the group stages. It's been an incredible journey, and we hope that you'll return soon to watch more Bafana action.